When I first started making Wargame Red Dragon videos, a user left a comment that said, the Wargame's real salt is in multiplayer. And after playing campaign mode for a long time, I realized I wanted that salt. So come with me, and I will take you on a journey through my first 10 matches in Wargame Red Dragon multiplayer. Alright, so here we are at game one. I decided to use the Soviet Battle Group, which is just a default deck. We're off to a bad start though because I couldn't figure out how to make custom messages in the beacon system so I could tell my teammate where I wanted to put my command vehicle. We got it sorted out in chat though, so I was going to go to the center. My partner was going to Dmitri. However, he got there, got obliterated, and then surrendered 2 minutes into the match. I decided to stick around because I like to see things through. However, the enemy whittled me down. I couldn't get any offensive momentum up, and the outcome of my first match in multiplayer is a defeat. Game 2 decided to go with a different deck this time, so I'm using the REDFOR starter deck, although I had no idea what was in it, so I tried to review that real fast before the game started. Still couldn't figure out how to put a custom beacon down, so I just go to attack one of my teammates' beacons, but realize there's no command vehicle for our starting zone, so I decided to leave my command vehicle there. At this point, I'm just impressed by the sheer number of units on the map. I've never seen anything like that before. Managed to hold our zone down, and I'm starting to push forward with my teammate towards the Ivan sector. Decided to go with some T-34 spam to defend against the sneaky enemy that's trying to sneak around our defenses. I send my T-34s into the forest like a real smooth brain, and they get destroyed by infantry like God intended. 11 minutes in, my last teammate surrenders, and I'm suddenly in control of the entire map. And I decide, contrary to what I said in game one, that I'm going to bounce out of there. Shameful. Outcome defeat. It's game three, and this time I'm using a BLUFOR starter deck. This is a little 1v1 match in the sweet, sweet noobs only lobby. I managed to get to Alpha and Bravo first and hold those, so I'm doing fairly well at the beginning. Midway through, try to get into this unoccupied village, only to find out it is occupied after all, and my SAS give their lives to that determination. I lose Foxtrot, so now we're tied in point accumulation as the enemy pushes into Bravo with my SAS still hanging on. Then I managed to retake Foxtrot, and I guess my opponent surrendered because all of a sudden I was victorious. In game 4, I still can't figure out the custom beacon situation, so I'm wasting precious time trying to figure that out. You'd think 4 games in I would have just looked it up, but here we are. I'm trying out this new West German nation deck that I've called Deutschland über alles. Because of my failure to tell my teammate where I'm going, he has to ask me in chat. I start heading to Bravo. Luckily for me, the enemy goes to Foxtrot where my teammate is. However, the enemy gets control of Bravo as I get there, so now we're down on points. I'm trying to pry Bravo from the enemy with infantry assaults against this building, and I even give my guys some smoke cover this time. Here we see this enemy recon unit discovering the full power of my Leopard 2A4, and I'm still fighting over Bravo, and we're up only 40 points when the match timer hits 0, and we win. Outcome victory. Game 5 is a 3 versus 3. I'm taking out my custom China Nation deck for a spin. I'm ashamed to admit that I'm still not figuring out the custom beacon by this point. I decided to go to the Elena sector. This is kind of a weird map because there's not a whole lot of urban area, so it's more open, at least on our side of the map. I got my command vehicle into Elena and captured it, but my teammates are facing a big assault across the river. We go back and forth for a while, and then 18 minutes in, my teammates start surrendering as I try an infantry assault across the river in Fedor. My command unit in the base starts getting shellacked just in time to distract me from my infantry assault I'm trying to do. We lose the command unit in the base, so now we can't reinforce at all, and I'm forced to move my command unit to try and retake our base sector. I realized way too late that I can bring in naval vessels, so I do that and it gets destroyed very quickly. At 24 minutes, my last teammate surrenders, and I decide I'm okay with conceding at this point. Outcome defeat. Alright, so game 6, playing as China, and it did take me this long, but I finally figured out the custom beacon function. Our Barbarian Dragon Dream Team secures the close sectors while the enemy focuses on the west part of the map. However, the enemy quickly secures more zones than us and starts racking up conquest points. You're going to see a lot of shameful activity from me in this video. but this is probably the worst thing that happens. Game 7, once again playing as China. I quickly moved to secure Fedor and my base. However, for whatever reason, I got fixated on fighting my way to Ivan instead of securing bases on the East Bank that were up for the tanking, which allows for an early lead by the enemy. I really spent the whole match just not really capitalizing on easy territory gains. So by the time I start making major moves to gain territory, my opponent is already well ahead in points. Outcome, defeat. Game number 8. Despite knowing how to use the custom beacon feature, still have some command vehicle confusion as we both put down beacons in the same places. In any case, decide I'm going to attack up the middle. I roll my command vehicle right through the napalm like a simpleton, but a few of my command units survive. I also manage to secure Fedor, but the enemy gets control of it too. Pretty soon, we've only got one zone, and we're pulling in a measly one command point, and then we lose pretty fast. Here we are at game 9, taking a break from China to play as my Deutschland über alles deck. This is a ranked game, and this time I'm going to play for multiple sectors instead of just concentrating on one, learning from my mistakes in the game 7. My command vehicle takes a beating from a helicopter, but manages to get in there well before the rest of the troops arrive. In the middle of the match, I'm up on conquest points, but then I pull a William Butler Yeats and things fall apart. And here we arrive at game 10, playing as Deutschland über alles. 3v3, I decided to go for Gulf sector. A quarter of the way through, we're looking good on points, but then around halfway through the match, things flip in favor of the enemy. We try to dislodge them from the center sector, and I've got my sweet scout snipers in there giving support. I even made the sweet push with smoke, helos, tanks, and anti-tank units just to get completely zapped by the enemy. A player from each team got booted due to lag, and then the enemy started this sweet artillery support defensive into Gulf. With 12 minutes left in the game, my one remaining teammate surrenders, so I take his troops and do what I can. Outcome, defeat. And there you have it, folks. My first 10 Wargame Red Dragon multiplayer matches. Coming out of there with 2 wins and 8 losses. Definitely more challenging than the campaign for sure. My plan is to track my progress as I head towards 100 games, so if you want to join me on that journey, please like and subscribe and witness my suffering.